Anthropic's official learning platform contains 13 distinct courses, offering developers a massive volume of training data for integrating Claude into their systems. Many of these are quick stepping stones. You can finish Claude 101 or the AI Fluency Foundations in somewhere between a few minutes and an hour. This chart compares required time investments. Introductory paths barely register, while enterprise deployment tracks for Amazon Bedrock and Google Vertex AI demand towering 8-hour commitments. These blocks sit at a fork in the road for engineers. You only have time to commit to one. If you look closely at the syllabus, both courses cover exactly the same ground. They dedicate heavy lecture time to prompting, tool use, and RAG, which stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, a method for giving the AI access to external data. They also cover MCP, or Model Context Protocol, the open standard for securely connecting Claude to your local data sources. Since the underlying AI content is identical across both tracks, your choice is an engineering commitment to a specific cloud ecosystem. Deploying an AI model at enterprise scale means you have to manage strict security perimeters, handle complex traffic routing, and guarantee data sovereignty, so sensitive company information never leaks outside your virtual walls. That requirement is why Anthropic built 2 entirely separate 8-hour tracks for AWS and Google Cloud, instead of releasing one unified developer course. You have 8 hours to invest. If you choose the wrong track, you will spend days mastering deployment infrastructure that you cannot actually implement on your company's servers. Making a standard vanilla API call to Claude is relatively simple, but integrating that call natively into a massive cloud environment requires mastering that specific platform's permissions and architecture. Choosing between Bedrock and Vertex forces a decision on your core DevOps philosophy, dictating how your entire infrastructure will scale. This matrix outlines the first major point of evaluation: how developers actually write the code and authenticate their systems. The SDK, or Software Development Kit, is the core set of tools you use to build your application. The Amazon Bedrock training focuses entirely on Boto 3, which is the standard Python SDK for all Amazon Web Services. Using Boto 3 allows your AI requests to seamlessly integrate into your existing AWS environment, automatically utilizing Amazon's native IAM, Identity and Access Management, to keep your security tight. The trade-off is that the Boto 3 syntax is specific to Amazon and feels clunkier than native AI wrappers. You are learning an AWS-specific methodology, not a portable set of cloud skills you can take anywhere. In the Google Cloud Vertex AI column, the approach is different. This course allows developers to use the standard Anthropic SDK. Because you are using Anthropic's own SDK, the code feels much closer to standard API development. This makes local prototyping on your laptop incredibly smooth. Even with that portable SDK, you still have to manage Google Cloud's billing systems and configure Vertex-specific scaling parameters to get your app to production. The SDK choice determines the daily code friction your engineering team will deal with. You have to decide between maximizing AWS security integration and maximizing developer portability on GCP. Past the initial setup, both courses dedicate the bulk of their 85 lectures to advanced implementation modules covering RAG and NCP. They share identical requirements for building production-ready RAG systems. Both curriculums require you to master text chunking, embeddings, and hybrid search to retrieve information effectively. The goal of these advanced modules is identical: securely connecting Claude to your proprietary enterprise data sources so it can read your internal documents. This diagram maps out a hidden yet highly significant architectural lock-in. The RAG and MCP patterns taught are highly optimized for their respective cloud providers' proprietary vector databases and routing tools. Once your data queries are permanently routed through these specific cloud boundaries, that learned infrastructure becomes extremely difficult to port. Mastering RAG on Bedrock produces a specialist trained in AWS-specific retrieval, rather than a developer who can port Claude to any competing cloud. The final evaluation criteria lie at the very end of the syllabi, where the specific automation philosophies of each platform diverge. The Amazon Bedrock course features a specific focus on deploying Claude for computer use, allowing the AI to automatically interact with user interfaces. Developers taking this route gain highly specialized skills in building autonomous agents capable of navigating visual interfaces and clicking through software using AWS infrastructure. Computer use is a highly experimental capability. Dedicating engineering hours to it may distract your team from building stable, deterministic, text-based API services. Contrast this with the Vertex AI course, which ends with a broader, more traditional focus on general agent workflows and chaining together known task sequences. Your team's appetite for experimental UI automation versus standard text-based agent stability should strongly influence your final platform choice. Evaluating these two courses ultimately means evaluating your organization's current DevOps realities. This decision tree maps out the recommendation framework. If your organization is firmly entrenched in AWS, the Bedrock pathway is your logical choice. The Bodo 3 learning curve is justified by the compliance benefits of keeping data safely inside an existing AWS security perimeter. The second branch highlights teams that are multi-cloud or GCP native, pointing directly to the Vertex AI pathway. This path is mandatory if your team prioritizes standard SDK portability and a smoother day-to-day developer experience over deep AWS integration. Your organizational momentum and existing cloud contracts must dictate which course you take, not the nuances of the AI curriculum. There is a reality check needed for teams and individual developers who do not currently have a strict enterprise cloud requirement holding them down. You have an alternative pathway. Anthropic's course number 4 is called Building with the Claude API. This standard API course matches the exact 8-hour, 84-lecture intensity and depth of the Bedrock and Vertex tracks without the cloud-specific baggage. Taking this standard course keeps your engineering team platform agnostic. This flexibility is critical while you try to find product-market fit and prototype new features. Truly mastering Claude across any of these 3 pathways requires a massive 8-hour investment of your time. The most valuable certification is the one that aligns with your team's ultimate deployment reality. Avoid the dangers of premature cloud optimization and choose the path that fits the infrastructure you actually use.